Donkey Kong Bananza ending explained, connection to Mario Odyssey revealed. The intriguing ending of Donkey Kong Bananza, what it means for the Mario Odyssey connection. Warning, spoilers ahead, this article delves into the conclusion of Donkey Kong Bananza, a game that has fans buzzing with anticipation and curiosity about its connections to the beloved Mario Odyssey. The spotlight this time shines brightly on DK's new companion, Pauline, who is portrayed as a 13-year-old girl in Bananza. This age difference has ignited intense discussions and theories regarding whether Bananza serves as a prequel to Super Mario Odyssey, or an adult Pauline captivates audiences as the mayor of New Donk City. After experiencing the main storyline of Bananza and exploring its significant post-game content, we're ready to unravel the answers to the burning questions surrounding these connections. However, caution is advised, we're set to reveal crucial plot points from the end of Donkey Kong Bananza. If you're still winding your way to the planet core, we recommend pausing here and returning later once you've had the chance to complete the game. In an engaging twist, the game reveals that the teenage Pauline does indeed call New Donk City her home, just like her adult counterpart from Odyssey. The climax of Bananza unfolds in the vibrant city, now under siege by the nefarious King K. Rool. As DK and Pauline triumphantly break through to the surface, Pauline passionately declares, "This is my city." This pivotal moment serves as a confirmation of the fan theory suggesting that Bananza culminates in Pauline's return to one of Odyssey's most recognizable settings. But does this connection definitively establish Bananza as a prequel? To fully appreciate this theory, it's essential to revisit who Pauline really is. In Odyssey, she's the spirited mayor, famous for her show-stopping performance of Jump Up, Superstar, during the New Donk City Festival. Teenage Pauline, much like her adult self, is not just a character in her own right but is deeply rooted in her musical talent and stage presence. A major part of her character development in Bananza revolves around her struggle to gain confidence as she prepares to perform in her home city. She not only sings the transformation songs in Bananza but also draws the attention of Void Kong, who becomes fixated on the power of her voice until King K. Rool intervenes, of course. Given Pauline's younger age, many fans theorized that Bananza would be an origin story leading to Odyssey, possibly explaining how New Donk City came to exist. It would be fitting for DK, the hero and friend, to inspire the residents to name the city after the girl he saved. However, Bananza presents an interesting twist. New Donk City appears to be an established entity prior to the arrival of DK and Pauline. During teenage Pauline's reflections at a getaway event, she cleverly refers to New Donk City as the Big Banana, a concentric twist on New York's iconic nickname, the Big Apple. This playful reference is one we've heard before in Mario Odyssey, making fans wonder about the deeper connections at play. Now, let's explore a fascinating theory arising from these revelations. What if teen Pauline isn't just a younger version of Mayor Pauline, but rather her daughter? And what if she's a descendant of Arcade Pauline, the original character from the arcade? Throughout Bananza, teenage Pauline frequently mentions her grandmother. At one point, while encountering Diddy and Dixie Kong in the racing lair, she expresses her concern about her grandmother worrying if she doesn't return home. This detail invites us to piece together the family tree Nintendo potentially had in mind. When considering the lineage from Donkey Kong, we must acknowledge Cranky Kong, who is known as the original DK, the one who once kidnapped Arcade Pauline. Bananza supports this lineage, with Cranky lamenting his past rivalries with characters like Mario, or Jumpman, whom we fondly remember from the classic arcade game. Following this lineage, Donkey Kong Jr., the son of Cranky Kong, led to the current Donkey Kong we know today, known in some circles as Donkey Kong III, who is the son of Donkey Kong Jr. and an unnamed Kong mother. So if we follow this generational hierarchy, we can conclude there are three distinct DKs, just as there appear to be multiple Paulines as well: Arcade Pauline, Mayor Pauline, and our teenage Pauline. Now, a vital point of consideration arises regarding their physical appearances. Arcade Pauline was depicted with blonde hair, while Mayor Pauline has a distinct brunette look. Some might argue this is simply a design update to the character, but there's evidence suggesting a deeper connection, such as a billboard in Odyssey that features a blonde version of Pauline, potentially hinting at a narrative continuity that Nintendo either established or chose to play with cheekily. The New Donk City Festival, which celebrates the city's origins, references the time when Jumpman climbed the girders to rescue Pauline, implying that New Donk City was birthed from the events of the classic arcade game. Given its sprawling size, it likely took several decades of human development to evolve into the metropolitan marvel it is in Odyssey. Thus, the differences in appearance lend credence to the idea that Arcade Pauline and Mayor Pauline may indeed represent two different generations. Perhaps we're looking at a mother-daughter duo. While one could argue that Bananza might still be a prequel, positioning teenage Pauline and Mayor Pauline as the same person, with Arcade Pauline being her grandmother, this feels less tidy. Instead, the evidence seems to favor the narrative that there are indeed three Pauline generations, mirroring the lineage of Donkey Kong himself. We truly hope the theory positing that teenage Pauline is the granddaughter of Arcade Pauline holds water. The thought of these beloved characters' descendants forming a partnership in Bananza is heartwarmingly nostalgic, especially considering how Nintendo has managed to refresh one of its longest-running character dynamics more than 4 decades later. However, as players complete the additional post-game content, known as Bananza rehearsals, they seem to find that such insights aren't entirely forthcoming. Although Pauline finishes her journey by showcasing a song for her city, the only visual representation presented afterward is a new piece of artwork displayed during the credits. Consequently, while the notion that Bananza is a prequel aligns with many established theories, it ultimately remains speculative, lacking concrete evidence to support a solid connection from Nintendo. This speculation raises intriguing questions about the nature of Mario himself. If he has indeed interacted with multiple generations of both Pauline and Donkey Kong, does this imply that Mario remains unchanged over time while those around him age? Or could it hint at the existence of different timelines for the iconic plumber? Are Nintendo's characters truly as intertwined as they appear, or do they exist in their own distinct arcs with separate histories? It may be wiser to refrain from delving too deeply into these theories. Lastly, it's essential to acknowledge that Nintendo has historically prioritized gameplay and creativity over strict lore and continuity amongst its different franchises. Even The Legend of Zelda, Tears of the Kingdom, a direct sequel to Breath of the Wild, features narrative inconsistencies that are often brushed aside. Thus, it remains entirely plausible that Nintendo hasn't created a cohesive timeline linking the original Donkey Kong, Odyssey, and Bananza, blissfully leaving fans in a state of delightful confusion. What are your thoughts on the unfolding tale within Donkey Kong Bananza? Do you believe that teenage Pauline is the daughter of Mayor Pauline and the granddaughter of the original Arcade Pauline, or do you think we might be stretching our imaginations too far? Share your opinions in the comments below. Donkey Kong Bananza, Unleashing the Power of Destruction. Ask the Developer Volume 19, Donkey Kong Bananza, Part 1. This article has been translated from the original Japanese content. This interview was conducted before the game was released. In this 19th volume of Ask the Developer, an interview series where developers share their insights on Nintendo's creative process, we speak with the creators behind Donkey Kong Bananza, https://www.nintendo.com/a/store/products/donkey-kong-bananza-switch-2, a Nintendo Switch 2, https://www.nintendo.com/us/gaming-systems/switch-2/features, title launching July 17, 2024. Check out the full interview. Part 1, The Chain of Creation. First, who are you? Kenta Motokura, referred to as Motokura from now on. Hello, I'm Kenta Motokura, the producer for Donkey Kong Bananza. Before this, I've directed 3D Mario games like Super Mario 3D World and Super Mario Odyssey. In the Donkey Kong series, I worked on character designs for Donkey Kong Jungle Beat. As the producer, I shaped the game's concept and set its direction, including player controls. Note, 3D Mario games feature characters moving in 3D space, unlike 2D Mario games, which are side-scrolling platformers. Kazuya Takahashi, Takahashi from now on. Hi, I'm Kazuya Takahashi, one of the directors. I joined Nintendo in 2020, but before that, I worked on open-world RPGs and arcade games. For this game, I focused on gameplay design and level creation, along with cutscenes and text. Wataru Tanaka, Tanaka from now on. Hello, I'm Wataru Tanaka, another director. I've been involved in 3D Mario games since Super Mario Galaxy 2. For Super Mario Odyssey, I handled player controls and the core action system. As the programming director, I guided performance optimization and enemy AI for the Nintendo Switch 2. Daisuke Watanabe, Watanabe from now on. Hi, I'm Daisuke Watanabe, the art director. I designed characters for the Super Mario Galaxy series and led Super Mario 3D World's art. I oversaw the overall visual style of Donkey Kong Bananza. Naoto Kubo from now on. Hey, I'm Naoto Kubo, the sound director. I composed music for Super Mario Maker and led sound design for Super Mario Odyssey. As the sound director for Donkey Kong Bananza, I coordinated audio development and ensured quality. I also composed some of the game's music myself. Why did the 3D Mario team create Donkey Kong Bananza, ***? Motokora, the team originally worked on 3D Mario games, including Super Mario Odyssey. But when Koizumi-san approached us, he wanted to expand the Donkey Kong franchise. We decided to create a new 3D Donkey Kong game ourselves, aiming for a fresh innovation. Note, the Donkey Kong series began with an arcade game by Miyamoto-san, featuring narrative-driven gameplay and varied stage designs. What does Donkey Kong mean to them? Motokora, Miyamoto-san, who also worked on rare limited S Donkey Kong games, emphasized Donkey Kong's moves like hand slaps and blowing. This made me realize his versatility. Koizumi-san highlighted his massive arms as a key trait, setting him apart from Mario. We focused on reinforcing Donkey Kong's strength, like powerful punches and lifting heavy objects. How does this game fit into the series? Motokora, we wanted this title to showcase Donkey Kong's appeal as a character, not just a game. By creating new elements, we aim to branch into 2D and 3D versions, similar to Mario's dual offerings. The game will symbolize 3D Donkey Kong, emphasizing his strengths and new actions. Character design changes. Watanabe, people's perceptions of Donkey Kong vary. Originally, he was a fierce arcade boss, but he's evolved into a lovable, rugged jungle king or a goofy friend. Instead of just updating his look, we focused on his core identity. We interviewed past artists to preserve Miyamoto-san's vision. Motokora, we also tested various moves with a temporary character model to understand how big Donkey Kong is compared to Mario. This helped us design expressive faces and movements, creating a new game feel. Visual enhancements. Motokora, Donkey Kong's fur was previously too simple. We added breeches, suspenders, and thick fur to make him look wilder. His design was revamped from the original, blending elements from Donkey Kong Bananza. What's the deal with the movie and Mario Kart? Motokora, the recent Donkey Kong designs, including the movie and Mario Kart, are rooted in the original, with Bananza elements added. This means the 3D version is a direct evolution of the classic, not a new start. The Bananza transformations. Takahashi, Donkey Kong can transform into animals, powering up with Bananza transformations. This idea came from exploring his ability to change forms. He can destroy anything with punches, charge punches, or piercing strikes. Unlike Mario, who grows stronger, Donkey Kong transforms anywhere, allowing him to chain destruction. This is the game's core mechanic. A controversial take. Note, some may argue that the 3D version lacks the charm of the 2D one, but others see it as a fresh take on the legacy. Final thoughts. Motokora, this game is a blend of nostalgia and innovation. It's about honoring the past while pushing boundaries. Whether you love the 2D or 3D, it's a must-play for fans of the series. And this is the part most people miss: the game's design choices challenge traditional expectations, inviting players to rethink what makes Donkey Kong unforgettable. Donkey Kong Bananza Review: Delirious Destruction Derby takes hammer to platforming conventions. Warning: platforming conventions are about to get smashed. The pressure is on for Donkey Kong Bananza, Nintendo's inaugural single-player blockbuster for the Switch 2. As the first major title for the console, it's expected to set the quality benchmark, just as The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild did for the original Switch. But with some fans already grumbling about the game's existence, questioning why a new Donkey Kong game took precedence over another Super Mario Odyssey installment, the team behind the exceptional 3D Mario series has a point to prove. The demolition derby of platformers. Donkey Kong Bananza shatters those doubts, quite literally. This tie-wearing gorilla is on a mission to dismantle the very fabric of platforming as we know it. Beneath its Mario 64-esque 3D platformer surface, with themed worlds adorned with giant bananas to discover and collect, lies a game that gleefully disregards traditional level design. Every terrain is destructible, and DK's formidable fists can tunnel through hills, pound pristine lawns into muddy craters, and uproot massive stone slabs to wield as sledgehammers. Primal joy, meet platforming innovation. There's an undeniable, repeatable thrill in unleashing DK's perfectly programmed punches, the brief pause as knuckles meet rock, the satisfying rumble of the Joy-Con 2, and the mesmerizing way surfaces shatter under each successive hit. It's easy to envision Bananza enjoying a second life as a stress relief tool, a virtual rage room where you can hurl exploding boulders at cliffs, reducing them to pockmarked Swiss cheese. And with the option to invite a co-op partner to join the chaos, either by firing projectiles from DK's back or playfully sabotaging a friend's attempts to avoid destruction, the mayhem only intensifies. A method to the madness. But what drives this destructive frenzy? A new, villainous mining Kong clan seeks to claim a treasure at the planet's core, kidnapping Pauline, the young singer from Donkey Kong's arcade debut, in the process. However, in a twist, Kong and Pauline are now on better terms, with her using her powerful voice to unlock animal superpowers within him. Her catchy Latin pop song about embracing one's inner zebra is a particular earworm you won't soon forget. Rethinking platforming design. So, how do you design obstacles for a hero capable of tunneling under laser fences or smashing through barriers that would stop Mario in his tracks? Initially, the game's freeform nature can feel a bit unstructured, with worlds that can be excavated from any angle leading to occasional, unearned rewards. But as the game progresses, introducing more perilous landscapes with poisoned swamps, icy lakes, and lava, the importance of strategic destruction becomes clear. Solid ground becomes a precious commodity, and each strike must be more deliberate, more surgical. Boss fights and the method in the madness. Boss battles, in particular, showcase the genius of Nintendo's destructible terrain, cleverly limiting DK's smashing abilities by creating increasingly uneven arenas. However, one misstep in these later stages is the overpowered nature of the Bananzas, DK's animal transformations, which grant him speed, flight, strength, and more. While they shine within specifically designed challenges, they can become instant win buttons when applied to earlier stages, somewhat diminishing the ingenuity of the platforming design. A new benchmark for Switch 2? While Donkey Kong Bananza might not have the same longevity as Super Mario Odyssey, whose rich endgame content continued to blossom post-credits, DK's infectious appetite for destruction is undeniable. By the game's epic climax, he will have smashed through concrete, rubber, watermelons, ostrich eggs, and even nostalgic Donkey Kong Country homages. If the weight of the Switch 2's success indeed rests on his shoulders, consider it just another obstacle for DK to smash his way through. But here's where it gets controversial. Do you think Donkey Kong Bananza's destructive gameplay is a bold innovation or a gimmick that will eventually wear off? Should platformers continue to evolve in this direction, or is there still a place for more traditional, structured level design? Share your thoughts in the comments below. And this is the part most people miss. How might the game's design change if it incorporated more environmental puzzles that leveraged DK's destructive abilities in a more cerebral way? Could this blend of destruction and problem-solving elevate the platformer genre to new heights?